How's it going, Nance? Today we're going on to square and cube roots. I think you should have done this in grade 8, possibly. Just to recap, if you're taking the square root of something, we are going to divide the exponent by 2. If you're taking the cube root of something, you're going to divide the exponent by 3. Okay, so let's have a look at some examples here. I'm just going to get this down and then work through with it. So we get example, and we got example 1. So let's have a look at this first example then. So we've got the square root of x to the 6, y to the 10. Now, this is the square root. There is an invisible 2 in the front there. Okay, we don't have to write it. As soon as I'm taking the square root, I'm going to divide each one of the exponents by 2. So this will be x to the 6 over 2, y to the 10 over 2. And we can simplify that to be x to the 3, y to the 5. Okay, and that's our final answer. Then if we look at example 2, okay, so we're taking the cube root of m to the 9, k to the 12. And because we're taking the cube root, we need to divide each one of the exponents by 3. So this would be equal to m to the 9 over 3, k to the 12 over 3. And just notice, as soon as I divide the exponents by 2 or by 3 in this case, I get rid of this surd. Okay, so this would become m to the 3 over k to the 4. And that's our final answer there. Okie doke, so we're going on to another example 1. Okay, let's see if I can fit it on this page here. So we've got example 1 now, number A. And we've got 1 over 4 square root. All right, so grade 9s, whenever you get a mixed fraction like this, I want you to convert it into an improper fraction. And you remember how you do that? You take this times this plus this. All right, so 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, all over 4, all over this one here. And we're taking the square root. Now, if you're taking the square root or the cube root of numbers, you can do it. So the square root of 9 is 3, and then the square root of 4 is 2. So our final answer is 3 over 2. Just want to get example B down. Okay, so now we're taking the cube root of negative 125 x cubed y 12. So we're going to divide each one of the exponents by 3. Also, I can take the cube root of negative 125. I know that's going to be negative 5, okay? We can take the cube root of negative numbers. We just can't take the square root of a negative number. Just remember that from last year. So with this exponent here, I'm going to divide that exponent by 3. I'm going to divide this exponent by 3. And we get minus 5, x to the 1, y to the 4. All right. I'm not quite sure how these examples are going from example 1 to example 4, but anyhow, I will just call it example C. Okay. All right, so let's have a look at example C. 16 x to the minus 4, y to the 8. All right, so we're taking the square root of 16 x to the minus 4, y to the 8. The square root of 16 is 4. What do we do with these powers? We divide them by 2. So this will be x to the minus 4 over 2, y to the 8 over 2. Let's simplify these exponents. So we get 4 x to the minus 2, y to the 4. Now, grade 8s, you must notice now that you have a negative exponent. Also, let's just fill in our invisible exponent. So that's 4 to the 1. Now remember, if your exponent is positive, it wants to stay where it is. If it's negative, it wants to be in the opposite place. So we know we're going to get a fraction because we've got a negative exponent. The 4 and the y want to stay at the top because their exponents are positive. The only one with the negative exponent is this one, so it wants to come down to the bottom. And that's our final answer there. Okay, example D. Okay, so we're taking the cube root of 2p to the 4 over 16p to the minus 2m to the minus 9. Now, before I take the cube root of this whole thing, I can see that I can simplify things inside here, okay? First of all, I can see that I can cancel the 2 here, and the 2 will go into there 8 times. So we're left with 1 over 8. Also, I've got bases are the same, and I'm dividing, so I can subtract the exponents. Then this m to the minus 9, he's not happy where he is because he's at the bottom, so I'm just going to bring him to the top. So I'm going to do a couple of things there, but I'll talk you through it as I go along. So that's just going to be 1. Then we've got p to the 4 minus 2. Now, why am I doing that? Because it's the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. So 4 minus 2 gives me that one. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the m to the top, and that gives us 9. And remember that this was all over 8. Okay, and we are taking the cube root of that whole thing. All right, I'm just going to simplify these exponents. So that will give us 4 minus 2 will become 4 plus 2. So that's p to the 6, m to the 9 over 8. And we are taking the cube root of this. So now I can start dividing my exponents by 3. So this will be p to the 6 over 3, m to the 9 over 3 over. Now the cube root of 8 is 2. Then I can simplify these exponents, so we get p to the 2, m to the 3 all over 2. And that's our final answer. Right, grade 9s. What I would like you to do for homework is, just get it in the shot there, is exercise 3.6, number 1, DEIL, and then exercise 8.24, number 1, please. Thank you.